What's going on, man?
Not much. How about yourself?
Oh, living the dream, like always.
As always.
So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Korbin. I was born and raised here in Missouri. Went to a Christian boarding school, all of high school.
What school is that?
Sunnydale Adventist Academy in Centralia, Missouri.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just
No,
curious.
it's fine. Right now, currently working to see about going back to college in the fall.
Okay. Any majors you're looking at?
So, technically, this is my third year of college, or will be my third year, and I was doing communication up till now, but tossing the idea of switching majors to something a little more physical-based, like physical science, HHP, something like that.
Oh, that's neat, man. Yeah, I'm always a big advocate. I've talked to a lot of people about the idea of communication and how important it is in day-to-day life. I think that's one of the most underestimated things that people don't invest in is communication skills.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy how important communication is in really every aspect of life, whether it's work, personal life, relationships, anything like that, and people just overlook it even though it's super important.
Well, I used to be that guy where I listened to those statistics, you know what I mean? And there was one that said the number one reason in failed marriages was a joint checking account. And I know that sounds goofy, right? But
please explain that a little bit.
That one is because, okay, so that the theory behind the joint checking account thing is like if I was with somebody and let's say I want a big screen TV and they want a new couch and we're both saving in the same pot, somebody breaks. So somebody will eventually, typically, sooner or later down the line, have a break to where they're going to go get what they want, and the other person is going to be at a loss and think and feel that they deserve it.
Yeah, it's going to get to a point where someone's like, "Oh wait, we have the money. I can go get this," and the other person's like, "What about me?"
Yeah, but when you think about it in that aspect, what is the actual failure?
Lack of communication.
Lack of communication is the failure in that. So I think that when we talk about how important communication is in the military, it's the number one thing is how you guide, how you move, what you're saying, where you're going, everything. So yeah, no, that's a really cool study.
Yeah, that's actually one of the fun things about all of high school and even some of college is the lack of communication is just ridiculous. No one knew what was going on ever, except if you were like one of the popular kids.
Well, I think it's also one of those where I think some of the way we teach in today's world, they've got away from, use your words. Parents included, they don't stop their kids. I remember my parents being like, "Hey, stop!" Like they tell me, "Shut up," basically, and then be like, "Now use your words right." I'd be like, okay, because I would get frantic as a kid sometimes, where I'd be like, how some kids say, "Hey, and
yeah, they're just stammering and stuttering and just spilling over their words. Yeah,
and they're like, "Take a deep breath."
Like, all right, pause, try again.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that I've told a lot of people about talking in general, taking pauses versus and using the F word
just
in
those
between.
Filler words.
Yeah, filler words are not what we look for. We look for pauses to actually engage people into what you're saying, and it makes it seem as if you're actually thinking it out.
When I was at Union a couple years ago, I took a public speaking class, and that was actually one of the most important things that we were taught to do is do not say ums, uhs, or anything filler word like that. We were told, if you need to take a break, pause. It'll be used as dramatic effect.
Dramatic effect. But I'll be honest, I still do it all the time. We're talking public speaking, too. We're talking outside of the realm of normal conversation. We're all guilty when we have a conversation with somebody and thinking that is a way to say, "Give me a second." But in public speaking in front of people, there is a good grasp of understanding when to pause, when to make sure you're saying your words right, how not to come across as offensive or
Wording is
defensive.
very important.
Yeah, it can be very important. So that's cool,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
As I say, yeah. No, it's like I said, but this is a podcast. I don't care. I'm just saying, if I was public speaking, very different into how I would want to approach it. So we're
Something tells me you still throw in an or a in there somewhere.
Oh, I will. I'll probably this whole time. It's just like I said. But if I was in front of people, I would definitely try my best. Or if I make a video, as far as like where I'm trying to talk out something to somebody, or
like some kind of educational video
Yeah.
of some kind, just make sure you know what you're talking about.
taking those moments out can be a lot better. So now, let's talk about some other stuff.
All right, what you got?
So let's. What do you do right now?
So currently, I'm working with DoorDash. Been doing that for a couple of years. I've done a whole bunch of different things like Spark, which was previously known as Roadie.
Mm-hmm.
Weird name for an app, but whatever. Also have done Instacart. Pretty much, if there's an app for delivery services, I've done it.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that my sister, so she's done DoorDash with her husband and everything like that, and it can be very lucrative. She's worked for Amazon too, like different, like you said, different companies at the same time. There's a lot of benefits, and I mean there's a lot of the pros and cons. So.
Yeah, some of the biggest benefits with DoorDash is being able to work when you want, however long you want, and really wherever you want. Like I've DoorDashed everywhere from here to Utah to South Carolina. I've been all over the country DoorDashing.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you that.
Around Christmas time too, so money was good.
Yeah. So if you are DoorDashing, because I don't know the whole process. I haven't talked to my sister too much about it. I know that she really liked the Amazon, doing Amazon packages and stuff. And like you said, definitely in the holiday season, you can.
Oh, that is when you make the most money. Doesn't matter where you are.
Now, but let's say you go on vacation, like you just said. I want to go to Florida or to the beach or something. Does it matter? Are you employed throughout the United States or employed throughout the United States? So you can just be like, I'm here today, so I want to make a couple extra bucks just to have it. So since I'm here.
So that's actually, that is one of the cool things about DoorDash is you're technically considered a what is it? Personal contractor or independent contractor.
Yeah,
in a sense. So wherever DoorDash has its zones, you can work there. It doesn't matter where you're from. You could be from California and take a vacation to Nevada, and if there's a zone there, you can DoorDash. Really cool.
You're walking on somebody else's turf is what I'm hearing. No.
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly how it goes.
That's awesome. No, that's actually really, really cool. Yeah. I didn't know how that actually worked. So that's a big plus. What so the farthest you went was South Carolina?
So we've DoorDashed absolutely everywhere. We've gone west, east. Haven't gone a whole lot north. But do plan on going there. But have DoorDashed in South Carolina, right around the Myrtle Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. That was fun.
Okay, now that's cool. So is there any other, like you said, you do some other ones? I think I talked to your dad one time, and he said something along the lines of like you could do it for pets too, but it's a different company.
Oh yeah.
But but that's he said something along the lines of, he's like, well, if you ever want to go somewhere, you get a pet and you have to take them because some pets can't fly.
Yeah, so what's going on with that? I don't remember the exact name of this site or app or whatever it was. It was something my mom started doing, and she kind of just took the rest of us as like family vacation type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, let's say there was someone in, let's say, Kansas City that wasn't able to take their pet onto the plane, and they wanted to go to, let's say, somewhere in Utah, right? So what we would do is we would go to Kansas City, and they would pay us X number $100, and we would take this dog, cat, parrot, whatever, to wherever they're going in Utah, and yeah, get paid to go out there. And then if we were lucky, we could find a ride out there bringing us back. Otherwise, the journey home is on us.
Yeah, so you just basically you try to go out there. Once you're there, you look for
Mhm.
somebody else that needs a similar situation,
Pretty much,
and,
yeah.
and it basically affords your trip because they pay for the gas, like you said, gas. Well, overall, from
Yeah, they. So one trip that we did, it was from Lee Summit to somewhere in Nevada. I think it was like 800-900 bucks, something like that.
Mhm.
And got out there, and just so happened to get a ride going from there to Blue Springs, which is really close to here.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So we got paid to travel west and back.
man.
None of anything that we bought, gas, food, hotels, anything like that, was our money. It was these guys funding it,
Wow.
and we had money left over.
I
So
mean,
it was
it's kind of
great.
genius too, and as long as the pet is actually like, let's
Oh,
just-
absolutely.
like-
We've gotten absolute sweethearts of dogs. A lot of pit bulls. There was an Aussie once. It was amazing. I love doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I figure they have to be somewhat like disciplined and cool headed and stuff.
Didn't have to be, but a lot of that ones that we got were. There was one that was a little bit rowdy. That was a fun ride.
Yeah, just barking the whole time.
Not barking so much as wanted to be everywhere all at the same time. Didn't care about personal bubble at all. Good luck sleeping.
Oh no.
Would not let you sleep. If you so much as laid your head down, that dog was all up in your business, trying to figure out what you're doing, why you're doing it.
Why
Can you
you-
join?
Did you die?
Did you die? What's going on here? Can I
Yeah.
help?
Okay, so let's get into some of the other stuff. So we know, or I know personally, you work with a lot of fundraisers, and you
Yeah.
work with Pathfinders.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about Pathfinders and what their mission is and why you do what you do.
So Pathfinders is a lot like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, where we meet once a week on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8. And what we do is we do a lot of honor work, which is basically learning how to do various life skills and things that a lot of people deem as unusual. A lot of things like camping, there's small engines, candle making, survival, swimming, all kinds. You name it, there's probably an honor for it. So we meet and try to get as many of those as possible. There's different levels to it. There's the Little Lambs, Eager Beavers, Adventurers, Pathfinders, and TLTs.
Oh wow!
There are age ranges for all of them. The Little Lambs and Eager Beavers are like preschoolers to like very young, like up to I think second or third grade, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there is the Adventurers, which is like pre-Pathfinder. They're getting into a little more sophisticated things. They're learning things.
Maybe like a junior high.
It kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
The get up into there. But I think around the time that you are in sixth,
Okay.
sixth, seventh grade, something
Okay. So
like
just
that.
before. Okay.
Yeah,
So those
so,
ones
like,
would have been
just before.
Okay.
And then around sixth, seventh grade, you become a Pathfinder,
Okay.
which is where the fun begins. That's where you get into the harder honors, the honors that people aspire to get into. Well, anyone in Pathfinders. That's where you learn all the really good life skills, things that you're going to use, hopefully later in life. That's also where you get to go on a lot of the campouts and the international camporee that's coming up, which is what I'm doing the fundraisers for. Get to go backpacking, which is all kinds of fun. Just a lot of things that you get to do with that. And in the later high school, actually I think it is high school, where you become TLT, which is Teen Leadership and Training, which is basically you get more responsibilities, you get more things to do in training to essentially become a leader in the Pathfinders. Some people have actually gone on to being area coordinators, where they run all of Pathfinders throughout. I think it's just the Iowa Missouri Conference, and then there's some that run the entire North American division.
Yeah. So I mean, it is not just a Missouri thing.
It is not at all.
Yeah, it's a national.
It is a global thing. It's a global thing. So the International Camp Free coming up in August, there's going to be about 55,000 kids from, I think, like 13 or 14 countries around the world. So this is a huge event, and it happens every 5 years. And
you would be at the TLT, right? Or I said that wrong? Sorry.
No, that is the right term for it. It's just that is up to high school, so 18. So I'm a couple years graduated from that.
Okay.
So I am going to be a staff member.
Okay.
Yeah, working on becoming a master guide.
Okay, because I'm trying to track it all. But no, that's really cool.
If you're not used to it, it is a lot, but yeah.
So let's go through some of that, because there might be a lot of parents that are interested in that, or people may want to know a little bit more about that, and just in general. So let's say we're going to go to the youngest age bracket.
Okay.
What would be the first skill that you think you're wanting to teach the young, like somebody that's new? What are like maybe one of the first two things that we're looking at teaching them?
Are we talking like eager beavers, little
lambs?
Oh boy, the alphabet.
So we're really basic.
Very basic.
Kind of just reinforcing what's going on at school.
It's kind of like kindergarten all over again, but in a more fun way.
Okay.
And you're not paying for it.
Oh, that's cool. There's no dues or anything like that.
So I think it's like $20 for the year.
Oh, that's
it's not bad at all. A lot of parents love that because $20 and free babysitting once a week.
Nice. So then in the next stage, what about their?
The adventurers, they learn things like how to be kind. It's been so long since I've been an adventurer.
More like personal development.
Yeah, it's more like personal development kind of thing. How to like make friendships, how to love Jesus, what the Bible says about that, fun stuff like that.
Okay. Now, is there a point, like I just remember because I was a Boy Scout for a while, and I remember there's like a point where you do something like you get a pocket knife. And it was a big deal. It's like you come to this point, now you're going to get a pocket knife, and you're allowed to carry it because you got your badge of safety, and and that pocket knife would have the little saw and your multi-tool. Was there a point where you guys do something like that?
So
I'm just curious. I'm just wondering.
So Pathfinders is okay. If you're an adventurer, you're not allowed to have pocket knives or anything of any danger that is an accident waiting to happen and probably a lawsuit. Pathfinders, you are actually encouraged to have a knife. Like even if you just joined Pathfinders, you are encouraged to get a knife and carry it with you, same as flashlights, basic stuff like that. There are occasionally giveaways where if you do this or you have done this, you've shown up to this many meetings, you wear your shirt, things like that, you do get like little giveaways, like little flashlights or sometimes emergency blankets, whistles, compasses, stuff like that. But there's not like a rank where you get to this point, you get this. Well, actually, there is one similar to that where if you become a TOT, you get addition to your uniform, where you get a red braided cord that symbolizes you're a TOT. You get TOT pins, you get the white gloves, you just have a much more
pristine,
much more good additions to your uniform. They just give you that status of TOT.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I was just wondering on that. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that go hand in hand. I think that when we talk about development of a kid outside of personal development, and what we're missing in a lot of today's world is survival in general. And I mean that in the sense of not like, oh, we're not advanced enough to live in houses and stuff like that. I just mean like it is fun to go out and go camping.
Oh,
it is
absolutely
fun to go out into the woods. You would be surprised how many times like I like go out and say I'm going to go rafting or something, and I go to a campground
Next
And
time you do that, please invite me.
yeah, we see when you're trying to get your tickets and stuff, and you're on the campground, you literally see the memes of those people that are out there that
Yep.
can't build a tent,
Yep.
and their poles are just all over the place, and you're just like,
Oh, it's absolutely hilarious. I've seen so many kids that don't know how to set up tents, and they've been in Pathfinders for like 5 years, and they still can't set up tents. And it's like, what are they teaching you? Like, I feel sorry for these kids.
yeah,
Like, the fact that you've been in Pathfinders for 5 years and you still don't know how to build a tent, something is going on in that club. I feel sorry for
in
them.
those particular clubs. But
Yeah.
yeah, because it does come down to the leadership and guidance. But I think that like the one time when I was younger, I remember. I'm not gonna put these people on blast, but I was over at their house and they're like, "We're gonna build a fire," and I'm like,
Do you know how to do that?
"Yeah." And I just here's the thing I do because of Boy Scouts when
Oh, yeah.
I was in and stuff, and I wasn't oblivious to the whole thing. Plus, I'm gonna be honest. When I was in high school, we had a lot of bonfires. You figure it out. You know, I'm
Yep.
not saying why we had the bonfires, why
That's-
we were
that's for
there,
personal reasons.
but we would. It was pretty to me simple knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And these people stacked lumber, no spaces, just stacked them like it would have been like stacking it up for a stove. And sure enough, just pour some gasoline on it. Can't get this thing going. And I'm at this point internally, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm laughing my butt off. And I literally had to go over there and make a smokestack for him just to be like, all right, man, it's pretty easy. It's like this is the basic way you can start it.
That's so sad, but so funny at the same time.
It's and just getting oxygen.
Yeah.
They didn't know the principles of it, so that's why it's so important with those little things, those little itty bitty things like that, where it's like you want that.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the fun things with Pathfinders is I actually became known for my pyrotechnics.
Okay.
That's the nice way of putting it. I was very much the pyromaniac, where I did not know how to leave the fire in the fire. I would get sticks, set them on fire, and then start waving them around. I would start fires where I really shouldn't have, but I did anyway, because why not? And I was very immature with fire. I didn't know how to do anything with it responsibly, so the directors had to keep an eye on me at all times around campfires. But after a couple of years, I actually learned how to mature, knew about fire safety, and actually grew up a little bit to the point that the directors and other staff members would be like, "Hey, Korbin, fire." Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Finally got to the point where they trust me enough. Hey, I know you can do this. Go do it.
And has also come along to things like other things you might learn. Did you do like swimming or anything?
Oh, absolutely.
They do all sorts
Yeah.
of like all the basic survival things in those lines.
Yeah. So with some honors, there is the basic level, like swimming. There is basic swimming, and then there is like advanced swimming, where it's the same patch. You just get a little star in the bottom. Shows that you got the advanced version. They go over like very much harder techniques for swimming, different things, how to do that, like how to save someone while swimming, things like that. And if you get the advanced version of honors, people look at that and they're just automatically impressed. They want to know how you did that. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. How did you find this? It's all kinds of fun. It's a really fun network of people that are trying to teach each other a bunch of skills and like how to better themselves, and it's great.
My favorite, I remember, I was maybe a freshman going to be a sophomore, and I went to FFA camp.
I don't know what that is.
It's there's no true definition, but they always call it like Future Farmers of America is what they call it. But
that thing. Okay.
Yeah, but there's
Gotcha.
no actual definition, which is hilarious.
That's fun.
Yeah. The that being said, they do teach you a lot of good skills. Same thing.
Yeah,
like they might
absolutely.
teach you, like they always said, like ag construction, stuff like that. But going out there, at the camp, you go through a lot of little characteristics. But there's a big lake, and man, my favorite thing to do was canoe. And,
Oh, absolutely.
And I love canoeing. It's just it's peaceful, but I thought it was one of the best skills I learned while I was out there. that I still remember to this day was what happens if your canoe gets water in it, how to get the water out, how to
Yeah.
work with another person or another canoe if you have to do it by yourself, ways to do it. But
Hmm.
I always thought that was one of the coolest things to know how to do
Yeah.
and to help others, because sometimes when we look at these skills, we don't realize that a lot of times that is the purpose of them too. It is not just for our own benefit; it's to actually help the others around us and help them catch up.
Yeah, it's really fun how people don't quite understand that you learning this is going to help not only you, but other people, because there's going to come a situation where the skills that you have learned are going to translate into something else. You'll be able to help someone that doesn't know, or be able to help someone that does know do it easier. Um, that's actually one of the honors in Pathfinders is canoeing. You learn how to canoe with other people, alone, in rapids, slow waters, lakes, da 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 da, all that fun stuff. What to do if your canoe tips, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And there comes points where you're going to be paired with someone that doesn't know how to canoe.
Mm-hmm.
For fall camporees, we go on canoe trips at Current River every single year, and it's great. Sometimes you're lucky and you get someone that knows how to canoe. They know what they're doing, and it's a great time. You're at the front of the pack, and you're just having a great time while everyone else is scrambling to figure out how to go straight. Sometimes you're not so fortunate, and you get that person that has never canoed. Sometimes they're too young to have ever canoed, or this is their first time being a Pathfinder. They've never canoed before, or they have gone canoeing before. They've just always been the middleman. They've never been a paddler. That is when you get to learn exactly how good of a canoeer you are and how patient you are.
Well, I'd say just how not necessarily patience, but how
No,
good are you at
patience.
translating the information you've got?
Yeah.
Because again, when we go back to communication, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If just because I know how to do something, how valuable is it if I cannot explain
Like
it
how
to
well do
somebody
you
else?
understand it
Yeah,
if you can't teach someone else? Yeah,
exactly. So,
exactly. Yeah,
and I think a lot of times when we talk things out to other people, like we always say, I have a problem. Let me tell you about my problem. And this person will start telling you about their problem. And then halfway through, they go, oh. And because what happened is, as they're explaining their problem, something clicked. And they go, I just found out one of the possible solutions to my problem. And
yeah,
so whenever we're in that situation and we can explain something to somebody else, you might even find out that it's like, I've been missing a step that I definitely need to go back to
yeah.
and
There's
put that
there's
in there.
definitely been some instances where something wasn't working. I think it was lashing, where I just wasn't doing it right, and my director would come up to me like, "All right, what's the problem? Talk me through your process. What's going on?" So I tell him, "All right, so I'm doing this, going under here, going over. I see the problem. I forgot to tie it off first.
Mm-hmm.
Something silly, something small, but it makes such a difference.
Yeah. No,
Those silly mistakes.
It really does. Like attention. My dad would always say, attention to detail.
Oh yeah,
Attention to detail. Learn where those small things are because they're going to make the biggest difference in the overall outcome.
yeah. When you're backpacking and you make a small mistake, it could lead to some very big
So when you say
consequences.
backpacking, you're talking like, I'm assuming, because again, I'm going to go to the military
Mhm.
aspect, literal pathfinding, where you're navigating. You're using a compass, I take it.
So we don't really do that. Ben, our director, kind of just finds a spot. We go on a trail that already exists,
Mhm.
and then he just takes us like 3, 4, 5, 6 miles, depending on, and find our campsite. We haven't done any like actual path finding or navigating or anything like that. He's not that mean, especially because a lot of the kids that are in Pathfinders now have never done this before. They don't really know how to work a compass. They don't know a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, because here's the thing: I didn't. I did a little bit with it. I understood some of the basics of it, but I didn't really learn it until I went into service. So, I mean, it can be when you get into the advanced levels of it, it can be hard. But I do like the fact that I can read a map.
Oh yeah.
Like that to me is, and that just means I can look at a map, an old school map, and be like, I understand what I'm looking at. It's not gibberish. I get terrain. I understand.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this is not the best path because this is a big uphill slope that you're going to have to go through, and people go, no, it's just A to B. It's like, no, that's like
no, wait a minute.
That's a big mountain you got to go over right there.
It's like A to B is going to take you through some terrain that you are not ready for.
And
so we're going to go this way.
Yeah, and sometimes what may seem like the longer route is like
the safer or sometimes even the faster, depending on
that terrain itself.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was like 5 years ago or something. We were at this thing called Honors Weekend, which is basically an entire weekend where Pathfinders will get together and just honor after honor after honor after honor, just rapid fire them all weekend. And one of them was actually map reading. So we were at a campsite in Blue Springs, Camp Heritage, I think, and we were given like general maps of the area, and we were told, all right, you are here, figure out where you are on the map and how to get to here without just walking around and figuring it out. And I kind of had a cheat code because I'd been there since I was like 13. No, 7 actually.
Yeah.
But a lot of these kids had never been there, so they had to actually figure out where they were on the map, how to get to this place, and actually figure out how to use landscape to figure out where they are. And that was such a fun skill, and I'm so glad I got to learn that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And what he means by like the landscape, it could be something as easy as, depending on how advanced the maps could be, I'm going to keep it really simple, but it could be like, I could see a water tower over in the distance in that direction. So I look at the map and I coordinate and I say, okay, well, that water tower is all the way over there. So I correspondingly, if there's a road here and the water tower's there, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then that's how they figure it out.
That's actually exactly how they did it. Is they would give you a location, like it would be put somewhere, and then told, all right, figure out where on the map you are using different places. I think one of them was a forest versus the lake. Like figure out where you are in correlation to those, and then roughly where you were, and then figure out, all right, you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to be there, you're supposed to be over yonder somewhere.
Yeah, and I will go as far as saying, too, I want to throw this out there because of one of my experiences.
Oh, no.
That sometimes even terrain can be more tricky than people realize. So,
absolutely,
contrary to what I just said, as far as oh, this looks like the best terrain possible. I was going to a coordinated spot, and as I went to that coordinated spot, I had like a flat valley, and and I'm just like, this is easy. I'm gonna walk right through it. It's gonna be no problem.
Little did you know.
Little did I know it was like I don't know crops all that well. I'm gonna assume like a soybean, but no lie, them suckers were about as tall as this table. So it was ridiculous. So
what the heck was that?
So, but it was a whole field.
Oh no,
open field. I'm thinking to myself, this is an open field. I just get to go through it, and it's the quickest way to A to B. It's flat.
No,
yeah. Oh no, it's flat. It was just them.
They were tall and thick.
Oh, so I'd already committed to it, and I couldn't.
Way beyond the point of no return.
Yeah. So I was just like, I have to go through these, and what I thought on foot may have been a let's just say 5-minute truck, maybe 10-minute truck.
Yeah.
Became probably a good 20-minute just. Shoulders,
just fighting me plants.
The whole, because I'm in kit and everything else. I'm like,
that sounds wonderful.
And the whole time, it's the morning.
Yeah.
So there's dew on these plants. So of course, the whole time I'm just getting soaking wet from going through these plants.
End of the field. Where do you go swimming? The bean field.
Yeah, and everybody was aware. It's just because trust me when I say I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one.
Honestly, I'd be surprised if you were.
But the nice thing is that after I figured that out, well, corresponding on my way back, I made a little half oval around it because I was like,
I am not doing that again.
It's like, yeah. So maps can be pretty tricky.
Yeah, they can be very simple, or they can be very misleading.
All right, so coming on to the next part of this conversation here, which is really cool. If you have the information for any of the Pathfinders or anything like that, and you want to get a hold of Korbin, just message me or leave a comment, and we will see it, and we will hook you up with him. You can always come by the store as well at GNC, and we can get you some contact information. And we encourage it. We encourage that for your kids. We encourage that for anybody that wants to help, possibly, or help sponsor them. Please get a hold of us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we are welcoming any and all kids from around ages 5 to up to 18. So if you've got kids around that age range, bring them on by. We can hook them up.
Okay, now on to part 2.
All right.
So I think this is your part. You want to grab your boxes?
Oh, is it? All right.
Yeah. All right. So these are the magic boxes. So let's start off with, what do we have here? What is this miraculous skill you have here?
All right. So what we have here, I brought 2 cases of these. These are professional unresponsive yo-yos.
Yo.
So a lot of people know them in their beginning stages, which look like this. This is called the imperial shape, and it's a responsive yo-yo. So you throw it down, tug it, it'll come back up. Can do some tricks with it, some very basic tricks, looping, whatnot like that. You want to look at that?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So
I didn't want to touch you,
no, that's fine. I don't really care. That's how yo-yos were for a long, long time.
I haven't held a yo-yo in so long. I am about the
haven't.
giddiest school kid right now that you can imagine. I'm so excited for this. All right, so, but yeah.
Yeah. So that specific design, well, that one is a Magic Yo-Yo Dawn D3, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually some really interesting history behind yo-yos, especially responsive ones, because they are assumed to have started in, I think it was 500 BC in Greece.
Really?
But
what?
There is speculation that they actually came around much earlier in China. So I'm not exactly sure.
I wouldn't be. I thought like that was the origin, but I wouldn't. Maybe I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yo-yos have been around for a very long time, and they actually came to America because of a. You can look at these if you want. I don't care.
Oh, dude,
You're eyeballing them, so
I'm
like,
letting you all know I am
them.
tripping on these colors. Like, there's so many cool looking ones, and I know you know a lot about them. I'm just tripping on some of these colors. Like,
go ahead and look at them.
This one right here. This has just been like, I'm looking at this like that would be the coolest Iron Man color scheme right there.
Just olive green
it's
and gold.
Super light, dude.
Yeah.
Like some of them are super light. That was
the thing with yo-yos is they can either be really, really heavy or really, really light. There are some that are a mere 59 grams, which in the yo-yo world is insanely light. That is almost too light to be an unresponsive yo-yo. And I've seen some upwards of 70 grams, which is also insanely heavy, which is insanely heavy, especially for a yo-yo. Because keep in mind, these things are attached by a string to your finger, and it weighs like 70 grams. I don't know how much that is in like ounces or anything like that.
And you're flinging them around.
And you're flinging it around. It's going by your face. It's going all around your body. You're basically tying knots and then untying them.
Just the inside. Like this one has a crazy inside.
I love the colorway on this one. Like it is such a nice red wine.
Like boom box. I don't want to say it wrong. I'm just saying like some of these are just so trick, man. This one's neat too. I think that one, and that one are my favorite though. I instantly was just like, gotta touch it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, how long have you been yo-yoing?
So I've been yo-yoing going on 3 years now. I actually started in high school for a really dumb reason, actually.
I'm jealous.
So freshman year of high school, going to give you a little bit of history behind this. So my PE coach had a little kind of a small box of a bunch of circus toys, like manipulation rings, diabolos, juggling things, whatnot like that. And I ended up learning what's called a diabolo. It's a Chinese yo-yo. A lot of people call it a diablo. That's actually not right. But a lot of people don't know that, so whatever. Anyway, started learning that. Got a few tricks under. Got my own and would often practice in my room. Freshman and sophomore year, I was able to, but wasn't able to do it my junior year of high school, which is when I started yo-yoing. And the reason for this is because diabolos are about yay big.
Oh, they're like the big ones.
They're big yo-yos.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They're like the big ones that are not attached to the string. They got sticks.
Yeah,
all kinds of
fun. Toss them
fun.
in the air.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
That one is actually a prototype of a yo-yo. So there's only 9 of those before the mass production of that yo-yo. I got that one because the creator of MK1 yo-yos, so this is the MK1 Spyglass. One of the workers, I think it's the founder or main guy, I don't know. He hated that color.
Why?
I don't know.
I
love it.
Like
He showed me a picture of it and it's like, I will take it. How much do you want? He said $60. I said, deal. I think that yo-yo was going for closer to 100, so I got a pretty good deal on it. And it's a prototype, so there's only 9 of those.
But back to your sorry.
Back to the story. Yeah. Sidetrack. Junior year of high school, I couldn't do Diabolo in my room because I lived right above the dean, and he heard so much as a heavy step, and he had a newborn daughter. So I couldn't be playing with my Diabolo in this room because at that point I dropped it a lot. So he would hear clunk, every bang, every drop.
Yeah, because you're learning.
Yeah. And his daughter would also hear it, wake up, start crying, and then he's in a bad mood, and then come after me. I didn't want that. And it just so happened that one of my classmates actually had his own yo-yo, and he taught me like how to bind, how to do that. And it's like, okay, I kind of want to get into that because I spent a lot of time in my room because I was kind of like the social outcast of school, so I just spent a lot of time in my room. And so it's like, all right, what can I do? What can I do in here? So I talked to my mom, and she got me a yo-yo off of Amazon. It was a Magic Yo-Yo Silencer, I think it was. It was like 3 years ago. This thing was heavy, let me tell you. And I started learning some very basic tricks. A lot of it was binds and like trapeze or double or nothing, just very basic beginner things. But it gave me something to do. So it's like, all right, whatever, I don't care. Ended up, I really enjoyed doing it and really like learning the tricks and how little space it actually takes up. Well, at the time, my string has grown quite a bit since then. So I just started learning it, started doing more tricks, started getting a little more advanced, and yeah, he never got on to me because it was never hitting the floor hard enough for him to hear it. It was hitting the floor a lot, but not enough to wake up his daughter, right? So after that, I kind of just took off, and I've been doing it since.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's crazy how something like that can just become a full-time hobby and how those things develop. It's like you weren't even into yo-yoing technically.
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was till like 3 months prior.
Yeah, I remember when I was in first grade, my biggest thing, like that we had some yo-yo people come in and they were doing some tricks, and I think at the time, even some of the stuff I've seen you do, put them in shame. But it was just one of those where it was
I'm
just
still
like,
a beginner too.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It was just like, oh yeah, and then you get your yo-yo, and it was very, very baseline.
Yeah, I'm guessing they were using something like this.
Yeah, and so you'd get that, you'd be like, and just to get it retract, you'd do like, I'm amazing, I'm
like
awesome.
I'm so cool. And watch this.
And then you try to do anything else. 90% of the time, it didn't work, and it was still fun and neat to watch. I always joke, because like Taylor and I, we were always talking about that episode of Recess. Where Gretchen, she does the walking, like
The Invisible Man.
The Invisible
Yeah,
Man.
I haven't seen the show, but Taylor was telling me about that, and I'm
Like-
still trying to figure out how or if it's even possible to do that.
Yeah,
Because
puts
he
the
told me
shoes
about
on
it,
the
it's like, I want
ground.
to try this. Yeah.
I figure you'd probably need some pretty light shoes, but she's like
Yeah, I was
hitting
thinking
the
like those
shoes.
dollar flip flops from Walmart or something.
Yeah, and she's making it walk and stuff. And even then, I was just like, yep,
Like, yeah.
But yo-yoing is I think we look at these type of hobbies and these type of skills because they are skills too.
And we think nerd.
Yeah, but I don't because everybody like. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but it's like, but I like to skateboard. And I'm not necessarily the best in the world.
Not exactly
at
a pro, but it's fun.
Yeah, I have a blast doing it. I love riding. I like hitting half pipes. I like just all the fun that comes with it.
Yeah, some of the stuff that you've shown me, I would probably kill myself if I even so much as attempted. I can't even stand on a skateboard.
Yeah, it's I've definitely eaten some concrete more than I'd like to admit, but
that just means you're doing it right.
But there's a passion. You get drawn to a passion, and you're just like, man, look at what this can become. Even when it starts really slow. I showed somebody a video where I was trying to learn how to just turn on a quarter pipe, meaning just like not ride it, ride up it or anything, but just like where I could get on it and then get off of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first time I did it, I was going the speed of smell, and it was so slow, and in my head, I'm like,
the snail.
Yeah, literally, I was sitting there going to myself, I was just like, man, I remember seeing like a leaf blow by. In my head, I'm like, I'm the fastest man alive, but then you learn, like you slowly pick up, and then next thing you know, I'm at the top of these pipes doing turnarounds, and I'm having a blast and doing things I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how like passions can turn into that, but it takes people willing to introduce stuff into you. Like you just said, it's like somebody showed you. Somebody was like, hey, well, I know you like this. Try this out.
Oh, no, he didn't even do that. He was just out minding his own business. I saw him doing that and went up to him and was like, hey, what's that? Like, oh, this is a yo-yo.
Yeah.
Like, can I try that?
Well, that's
like, sure.
Well, when I learned to skateboard, that was the whole thing for my nieces.
Yeah.
And then I taught them how to skateboard.
Nice.
So you pass it on, and then you learn stuff, and you can always pass it on. But it's funny. It's like you might be amazingly better than the guy that taught you, just because. But he sparked that interest.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, I think which is your favorite?
Oh, don't make me pick.
Okay. Which one do you like to do tricks on the most, probably?
So, if I had to pick, I'd say this is my favorite, the MK1 Exia. It just has a really nice weight and feel to it. Also, love the watermelon colorway. I've been obsessed with watermelon recently, so this one is just like perfect. So I'd probably say this is my favorite at the moment, but the Good Life Yo-Yo's Pharaoh is really close second.
All right. So you said that you will do a little demo for us. I'm really excited. Before you start, people, I just want to let you know, one, this is probably a lot harder than it looks. Two, he has very minimal space to work with our setup here because he has to stay in the camera view. So I want to make sure.
Give me a little bit of grace here.
Yeah, give him a little bit of understanding that he's in a whole new area, and because of our lighting and everything, again, his window is pretty small. So if anything, give him more credit for what he's going to do. I'm actually going to stand up as well because I want to watch it from the other side, and we're just going to go. How long you want? A couple minutes?
I could just do a couple of tricks.
Okay.
I was thinking of just like doing 2 or 3 just to show off a little bit.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to do them a couple times if you need to. Like I said, guys, we're working in a small area here, so I'm going to stand up, and whenever you feel comfortable or you feel like you're done, or if you want to keep rolling some together, right. Have at it. But I'm going to stand up.
Sounds good. like that, John?
Oh my gosh! Can I try one? Can I just do like a? I'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do the basic here.
Yeah, that one I'm not super worried about because I don't play with it a whole lot, and it's plastic, so it should be fine. Yeah, that's the whole point of the slip knot is it adjusts to all finger sizes.
I haven't played with the yo-yo since like it's been like 15 years. Maybe
Oh, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna go over there.
Oh no, you're good, man. I'm literally just gonna do this just because I want to try it.
Okay. Little more. Little more. Little more. There you go.
I did it. I did it. That's it. I done did it.
The crowd goes wild.
You're welcome, Los Angeles. Bro.
That's actually a lot better than a lot of people I've seen.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s. It's like I got that bass skill down. But the wow, so much fun to watch, guys.
So,
in person, a million times better too. I was just like, what? Where's that go? Oh,
I'm sorry, it's going where?
Yeah, I could hardly keep up.
So, want to know the fun part about that?
Yeah,
I made those tricks.
No.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Except for the last one, which is called a negative hook, I made both of those tricks.
Dude, I about lost my mind when you, like, I think as a guy, maybe I should just say an individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, like, when you had it all the way up there and you just zapped it back to your hand, I was losing my mind. At that point, I was just, like, jumping behind the camera. Like, you got to be kidding me, you know? And if you guys understood the space, it's like if he would have been about a foot forward, he's hitting lights. So the space he's doing that in is absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's why it was just even more crazy how controlled.
Not only is this like a really small space compared to what I'm used to, but I play with very long string. It's like up to my chest. How long my string is.
That's insane.
And a lot of people play like to their belly button or something like that. That is way too short for me. Like I don't know how they play with that short of string.
Now, are you going to compete at all?
So I want to. Currently working on getting more tricks that are like designed for competitions. Also trying to figure out where one's going to be and when, so I can at least I want to go to one before I compete, so I can kind of get a baseline of like what's going on.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so if you make your own trick and do it at a competition, how would they judge it?
So that's actually really fun. When I started getting into yo-yoing, I looked up everything I possibly could about this, so I can actually give you a good answer on that. So the judging system for competitions has changed a lot over the years. Back in, I think it was 2002, the judging system was purely on how many string hits you had. So every string hit, no matter how hard the trick was, no matter how complicated, doesn't matter what you did in the trick. As long as the yo-yo hit a string, you got a point, or you got a click. Nowadays, if you do that, you get one click, and the harder the trick is, harder the elements get, the more points you get. So the one where I launched it up and brought it back, that would have been one click, and I would not get points for that again. Because that's a repeated element.
Okay, so it's okay. I got you.
So once I do it once and get scored for it, I can't get scored again.
Even if it's part of like the momentum of the trick to do a next part, that part's out.
It's like that part you will not get scored again.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. That's neat. So you just have to really try to string together different things.
So a lot of it is you can get into the same mount, just not the same way. Like, let's say wrist mount. It's a pretty common mount for yo-yos. If you get into it the basic way, you get scored for that. If you get into it through a more complicated way, you get more points for that. And you can get scored for the same getting into the wrist mount as long as it's a different way.
That is...
And there are infinite ways of getting into pretty much anything.
Man, that was so fun to watch. Like, dude, I'm still just like, I could have watched that for hours, just been in person and everything. That was really neat. And I'm sure the colors, like watching different yo-yos, different colors, have different effects for the
Oh,
eyes.
it's so cool. Like,
Now, have you do any of these? And this is kind of an off question. Do any of these glow in the dark?
no, unfortunately, I don't have a glow in the dark yo-yo. If you had black lights, the strings would, but that's about it.
Well, I figured the strings have to glow in the dark too. I mean, because it would be hard to really coordinate what's going on without.
They don't really have to glow in the dark. Like at competitions, they don't have UV lights on them. It's just normal lights. So as long as you can see the string, you can get it scored. But I have seen a lot of yo-yos becoming glow in the dark. There's one brand in particular, Offset Yo-Yo. It's ran by Brandon Vu in Australia. He specifically made a glow in the dark yo-yo. I think SF Yo-Yo's also made one that glows in the dark pretty well. I don't know if it's specifically for that, but it does.
Okay, so what I need you to do, buy one. All right, post some videos.
As soon as I get the money for it.
I want to see it.
Once I get the money for one, I'll definitely get one.
Yeah, because like you just said, it's like most of these are probably around like $100 a piece, if not more.
Actually, no. The only one that is $100 is this one. Mm-hmm. Everything else is maybe 50.
Okay, well, not horrible by any. I mean, still an investment though.
This is the Yo-Yo Factory Godspeed. Angelo.
I'm really happy you pulled that out, dude. Now that's a whole different yo-yo than what I was seeing. What?
Yeah, it's got a really fun colorway. The cups are different colors. You can do that, or there's splashes like this.
I like that one.
This is the Zero Gravity Return Tops Basilisk. They got a fun little splash colorway going on, lots of blues and purples. Or you can do Fade, like the MK1 Exia. They got a bunch of different colors for that.
The last thing, because all of a sudden this hour's blown by. Do they have lights in some of them? That would probably weigh them down a little bit.
So
but that is the
there
thing,
are
right?
actually some yo-yos that have lights embedded in the cup, right in there, and I've gotten to play with a couple of them, but I don't have any videos of that.
Okay, but it's just for effect.
Yeah, it is a thing. It is very common. You will not see them in competitions
because of the weight.
They're just not designed for competitions. They're meant for just playing around. Spin time is horrible. Can't do a whole lot of tricks with them. You can still do a few, and if you're good enough and pay enough, you can get one that is a lot better. But most of them, no.
I think I'm gonna order one of these just to have it. I'm not gonna. I don't see myself committing to learning, but I see myself being like totally sitting in my room doing that for an hour, fidgeting with it.
So if you want to just have it go up and down, recommend getting a responsive yo-yo like this, or you can get one from Yo-Yo Factory Magic Yo-Yo. Currently, I've got the Yo-Yo Factory DV888, which is responsive, so it'll go up, down, come back up. Or you can get a Magic Yo-Yo Crystal K1. I don't expect you to remember those names.
I have the video.
Okay.
Well, man, I got to tell you, what a great time. What a great time talking with you, from learning from about the Pathfinders, learning about little ways to cheat at traveling. That was really fun. I like that. And then
get paid to travel.
Get paid to travel. And, man, just thank you for putting on that show for us.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, that was just so much fun. I'm definitely making a short out of that. I hope you know.
Yeah,
I'm going to post it for you. But, hey, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody, again, if you need to get a hold of us, just leave a comment. And I hope you really enjoyed this episode. So me and you are going to end this the same way we always end it.
All right.
We're just going to point at the camera.
Who are you?